Right, now can we have some lights off? We have all the lights. This is actually me as Frankenstein from Casino Royale. The guy with me is one of the stuntmen in Great Britain. And can we have that one off? Can we have that one off? Can we have that light off? That's better. That's much better. Anyway, as I said, this is me playing Frankenstein from Casino Royale. The other guy, as I said, is a stuntman, and he's not as big as he looked, because with the boots on that I've got, I was 6'7", and with those boots I'm probably about 7 foot. But he's probably about, I think he was about 6'4", 6'5". He wasn't as tall as me. And next. Oh, no. That's lovely. Right. Anybody recognise the guy in the black coat? Very famous TV doctor. Ben Casey, that's right, Dr. Ben Casey. This is from a film called Hammerhead, which we filmed on a yacht in the middle of the River Tagus out in Lisbon, out in Portugal. And the other three people, the one in the white suit is the guy who played Hammerhead, a guy called Peter Vaughan. The guy with the red sweater on is a guy called, a very famous English actor called Michael Bates. And the lady is Beverly Adams. Right, next. Can we focus up a little bit? Go on a bit more. That's Beverly anyway. That's Beverly Adams from Hammerhead. Lovely, lovely lady. She was married to Vidal Sassoon, and Vidal came out to the shooting while we were there. And I think the next picture. Can I next? We're going. This is her and Vidal Sassoon by the side of the swimming pool. Right, next. Whenever I used to get a film part when I was playing all these villains. They always used to say, well, physically you're dead right, but facially you're all wrong. You're too good looking for the part, you see. And so what they used to do, they used to cut all my hair off for a start, and then they used to put these terrible collodion scars all over my face. And I said, this is the result. And you can't see the scar very well on that one. Let's go down over my eye. Right, next. That's a better view of the scar. But this, as I said, this is on a beautiful yacht. Right in the middle of the River Tagus, just outside of Lisbon. It was a lovely location. The film ended up terrible because Vince Edwards had an accident. He fell off of a wall and broke his ankle. And most of the film, if ever you see it, most of the film is actually a stuntman. The only time you ever see Vince Edwards is when he sat down. Right, next. This is me with an actor called Jack Walger. I said it looks as though I did nothing else but sunbathe all the time I was out there. Right, next. This is with two of the actors, Michael Bates and Peter Vaughan, just having a muck about by the side of the pool. I was in quite good nick there, as you can see. Right, next. This is from a series called Arthur of the Britons, which is a television series in Great Britain. I played the leader of the villagers who were revolting against the rulers, as it were. Next. We'll go through these fairly quickly. This is me again. The beard and the hair is not mine, by the way. I didn't grow it. Right, next. This is Tom Baker from who played Doctor Who, but this is actually from Arthur of the Britons. He had one of the major parts in the production. I put it in because all the Doctor Who pictures, all the Doctor Who fans like to see pictures of Tom Baker. Right, next. Oh, this is without a doubt the worst thing that I have ever done in my entire career. Anybody recognise it? The Minotaur from Doctor Who, that's right, yes, yeah. Without a doubt, this is the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. They actually made this bull's head for me, and it was supposed to look all terrible and ferocious, and it actually looked like Winnie the Cow. And so they kept on coming up to me all day and putting glycerine down its nostrils to make it look as though he was snorting and looking all ferocious. And I had this mock bullfight with John Pertwee, and crashed into a wall and broke my neck. I cringed when I saw it. But that's Doctor Who for you. Right, next. This is from The Horror of Frankenstein. This makeup job took 2.5 hours every day to get that headpiece on. It was a horrendous makeup job to do. It was all molded in under the eyelids and round the nape of the neck and all the way around with mortician's wax. But it took a long time to get into it. Right, next. This actual picture I got outside. If anybody wants a horror picture from the Horror of Frankenstein, I've got this actual picture outside for sale. Right, and next. This is the glamour of the film. That's Kate O'Mara is the dark one, and Veronica Carlson is the blonde lady. I fell madly in love with Veronica Carlson. Anyway, next. The lovely Kate O'Mara. Yeah. Right, and the next. Yes. Yes. Rumour had it that Kate O'Mara had gone to Paris for a bus job before the film started, you see. And all the technicians used to come up to me and they used to say, Dave, look, in this film you have to kill Kate O'Mara. I said, yeah. They said, well, look, when you grab her, can you have a little feel and see if they're real? You see? So, but me being the true gentleman that I am, I never did. Yeah. Anyway, next. But you see, they're even stood up when she's let down. Anyway, she's a lovely lady, lovely lady. Right, and the next. This is Clockwork Orange, of course. This is me doing some weight training down in the house, and there's a knock at the door, and Alex comes in. Can I have the next one? I think the next one is weightlifting as well. Oh, there's Alex comes into the doorway. These are back to front, actually. They should be the other way around. But Alex comes in the door. I pick him up and carry him down the stairs, and there's a big dialogue scene at the bottom, and then I chase back up the stairs and put him in the bath. And when he's in the bath, he starts singing in the rain, and they realise that this is the guy that came into the house originally and beat up the writer and raped the wife. And so they decide to get rid of him. And as I said, instead of the writer and his wife in the house, the writer was there with his big bodyguard, which is me. Right, and the next. This is from, this is the mask which they made for Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. After the problems of the first makeup job on Horror of Frankenstein, they made a complete plaster cast of my face and head and body. And so when they decided to do another monster film, all they would just do is get the body out and make the mask up, and then I would go in and fit it on. Next. Right, and again. This is the headpiece that they have of me. Again. This is the actual body of the monster was built up on a wetsuit. So it was very easy. I could get in and out of the costume in about 10 minutes flat. It was really good. Right, and the next. This is me on the rampage in the graveyard. I'm looking for the body to which my hands belong. Yeah. Oh, I've had several nasty operations, I'll tell you. Yeah, next. This is the makeup man called Eddie Knight. He's one of the top makeup men in the country. Again. Again. I got killed in the film. I don't know if anybody saw this movie, but I got killed in the end. I got ripped apart I got shot to start with, and then all the lunatics in the asylum jumped on me and ripped me to pieces. And the next. Anybody recognize this guy? Very famous American film director. Russ Meyer, that's right. Well done, well done. Russ got in touch with me after Clockwork Orange. Russ got in touch with me and said he was doing a film. I'd never met him before, and asked me to go and see him. He said he was doing a film out in Barbados called Black Snake, which is a film all about the uprising of the blacks against the whites on the plantation days. And Russ was very famous, or is very famous, for making these films with these huge-breasted women. And I thought, oh, this is marvellous, out to Barbados and doing this film with all these huge-breasted women. It's going to be lovely. And when he started talking to me about the movie, he said, I've decided that sex is out and violence is in. And they got two of the most flat-chested women you could ever wish to see as the two female leads in the picture. And he decided he was going to have every conceivable death that you could think of in this movie. And we had death by whipping, we had death by machete, we had death by hanging, we had death by crucifixion, we had death by burning, we had death by shotgun, we had death by sharks, we had death by snakes in the bath. You name it, we had it. We had every conceivable death that you can think of. And show the next slide. Can you? This is Russ again, right? And again, next one. And this is where we hung. Eight of the Tauntaun guards, and they're actually all suspended in harnesses, and the little guys at the front are all waiting to wait for the filming to stop so they can get in between the guy's legs and take the weight off of the guy's crutches, because it was very, 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 very painful being suspended from your crutch. And right, and the next. Right, this is Russ directing. Right, and again. This was at the police barracks in Barbados. And again. This is my death scene in the film. I got blasted with a double-barrel shotgun, and the makeup man made a pad which fitted to my stomach to make it look as though I'd been shot. But the director took one look at it and said he didn't like it at all. And the cameraman said he didn't like it either. So all they said, get down the butchers and get a couple of pounds of sausages. And they came back with these sausages which we unraveled, and then they just laid them on this pad which I had on my stomach, covered them in fake blood, and all I did was clutch the sausages. And as I was shot, so I sort of reeled backwards and fell onto the ground. And I was squeezing these sausages, so it looked as though all my intestines were going through my fingers with all this blood everywhere. And the next. Right, and the next. Oh, this is Beverly Hillbillies. They came over to England and did a couple of series in Great Britain. And we were filming in a place called Pencer's Place, or Pencer's Castle, down in Kent. And they were supposed to be looking for their Scottish ancestry. I went into a couple of episodes to play a drunken Scotsman, and all I did was just wander around the battlements playing the bagpipes. That was all. Right, next. And again. This is, remember Nancy Cole, the secretary? She was the secretary in the Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah. And again. This is Buddy, Maxie Bear, and Donna Douglas, who played Ellie Mae. Right, next. Oh, they were over there for weeks shooting in Great Britain, yeah. But it was terrible. The series was so bad that they wouldn't show them in Great Britain. I think they showed them over here. They said they were all right for America, but they were no good for Great Britain. Yeah. Right, next. This is me as my drunken Scotsman. And another one. Right, and the next. Oops. This is me taking a picture of myself in the mirror when I was doing a Superman television commercial. And I wanted a picture of to see what I look like in the Superman makeup. And this is me just sat in front of the mirror with my camera. This is when I went into Highland Games. I had to go to Scotland to get measured up for a kilt. And this is the little guy that measured me up for the kilt. Pied Major Donald MacLeod. Right, next. This is the team of us. These are all back to front. There's this team of us this is the Highland. This is what they call the heavy athletes. I said I've never ever grown my hair as long as what it was there, and I've never ever had it as long as that before. I didn't even realise it was as long as that. But they were really superb athletes, very strong men. The one on the second from the left, the second from the right, could actually pick me up and dump me down as though I was nothing. Like, you know, he was a great, one of the, well, probably the greatest Highland athlete ever, a guy called Bill Anderson. And I used to wrestle him in the events. And I used to think I was quite good and quite strong, as I was like, you know, British record holder, one of the strongest men in the country. But this guy could pick me up as though I was nothing and dump me down on the floor. I didn't stand an earthly against him. You know, he was superb. Right, next. These are the group of us that went. This is pipers, dancers, strongmen, and the heavy athletes. The interesting thing, there's a guy third from in the front row, third from the left. There's a guy called Graham Brown, and Graham Brown was a Scottish strongman, and he used to do things like, you know, he used to lie on a bed of knells with a big boulder on his chest, and he used to smash it with sledgehammers and things like this. But his major pièce de résistance was he used to hammer 6-inch nails up his nose. He used to get this pair of pliers, and he used to stand on stage and he used to go,
and blood used to pour everywhere, and it was all over the floor of the stage and things like that. And he used to pull these huge, big, long 6-inch nails out of his nose, and he died eventually. At a very early age, yeah. Right, next. I think next we'll just run through the next ones fairly quickly, because these are all just Highland athletes. These are all taken in San Francisco, actually. Yeah. You know, this is me at Diamond Head in Honolulu. When I was a bodybuilder, I used to pick up all these bodybuilding magazines, and we used to see all these American bodybuilders photographed with Diamond Head in the background. So eventually I went to Japan, and on our way back they said, we're going to stop off at Honolulu. And so I said, oh lovely, I'm going to have my picture taken at Diamond Head. So this is me at Diamond Head. Something I always wanted to do. And so there's Diamond Head in the background. Right, next. Oh, this is doing a beer commercial. You can go through these fairly quickly. Go on. This is for a beer. It was a beer called Samson Beer. This is the two girls, or what they call the Baker twins, who are a very famous pair of twins in Great Britain. This is from a series called A Horseman Riding By. It was a book by R.F. Delderfield, a very famous novel in Great Britain, and they made a marvelous TV series about it. And this is the lead character in it. He subsequently became one of Britain's best known actors. Right, next. It's interesting seeing all these pictures like this, because they're all back to front, and you're seeing them all the other way around. Right, next. This guy by the name is a guy called Nigel Havers, who you probably know. Done lots and lots of work in Great Britain. This is the producer, director, and one of the cast with me. I played the part of a fairground strongman man who became a hero in the First World War. He went to war and died trying to save his colleagues in a trench. Right, next. Anybody recognise this? Space 1999, that's right. I played the beta creature in an episode called The Beta Cloud. And it was a lovely TV thing for me. I did it directly after doing Star Wars, and it was the very first starring role that I ever had. And they gave Barbara Bain and Martin Landau the 2 weeks off, and it was like every stuntman in London versus me. I was there to try and steal the life support system from the spaceship, and it was, as I said, they brought every stuntman in to try and kill me. And they tried to burn me, gas me, poison me, electrocute me, the whole works. It was a great episode to do, great fun. Right, next. I think this is me where they're trying to electrocute me. And again. This is Tony Anholt, who was one of the lead characters in it. And the next. This is me and Tony. Is it Shall We Dance? This is the major thing, apart from Star Wars, the major thing that I've done in my life was in 1976. 76 was a great year for me, because not only did I get offered the Star Wars part, I also got offered this, which is what they call the Green Cross Code Man, which is the figurehead of the British government's Child Pedestrian Road Safety Campaign. And for 14 years, from 1976 to 1990, I was the Green Cross Code Man, and I toured all over the world, giving talks to children in schools all about child pedestrian road safety. In England we have a code when every child in Great Britain learns this code. We say, first find a safe place to cross, then stop. Stand near the curb, not on it. Look all around for traffic, and if traffic is coming, let it pass. And if there's no traffic coming, walk straight across the road, but look and listen as you cross. Now every child in Great Britain learns that and they learn it off by rote. And as I said, they had a campaign going which involved 3 major personalities, and they suddenly discovered that the children knew that the personalities were involved, and but they didn't know what the code was all about. And so they hit on the idea of getting they knew that Star Wars was coming out, and so they hit on the idea of getting their own sort of Superman type character, and they asked me if I would do the job. So I went in to play, as I said, this Green Cross Code Man character, and after we did I think 4 or 5 sets of commercials. And then after the commercials, they turned around to me and they said, well, how would you like the job of going around all the schools giving talks to the children about road safety? So I, as I said, for 14 years, I toured Great Britain. I toured the world, actually. I came all over America doing it. Went to Australia, went to Barbados, went to the Cayman Islands, went over Germany, down to the British forces in bases, giving talks to children about road safety. And we actually reduced the road accident figures in Great Britain by over half. They went down from over 40,000 a year down to less than 20,000 a year. It was a tremendous campaign. Very proud of it. Right, next. And again. This is me with. They have a competition in Great Britain, which is organised by one of the soap companies, and it's like a beauty competition for little girls. And they invited me along to present the awards to these little girls. And there are just a few nice pictures of me with these very, very attractive little kids. All right, next. Go on. Whoops. These actually were taken outside the American Embassy in London. This is outside in Grosvenor Square in London. These are the girls. This is, you know, who were the finalists. Right, again. Oh, this is I've also, one of the things that I've done, I got very, very much involved with charity work. I came over to America for the premiere of Empire Strikes Back and got introduced to Eunice Kennedy. And Eunice Kennedy said to me, how would you like to get involved with my movement for the Special Olympics? And I said, yes, I'd love to very much. I'd like to do it. So I've done quite a lot of work in England with the Special Olympics movement. I then was asked if I would MC the annual general conference of the President's Committee on Employment of the Handicapped. And then for 3 years I went to America and MC'd the annual general conference, about 5,000 delegates from all over the Americas. And then I got introduced to the National Organization of Disability in Washington, and they then said to me, well, how would you like to come over and do tours publicizing the work of the National Organization of Disability, which I then did. I'm also a member of the STARS Organization for Spastics. I'm a member of the Variety Club of Great Britain, and as you probably all know, I've got my own arthritis charity. I do a lot of work for the arthritis cause, because having arthritis myself, I'm now trying to do everything I possibly can to raise money for a brand new arthritis research centre. So these pictures were taken in Hyde Park in London to promote the Special Olympics movement. And the guy in the red tracksuit is a very famous athlete called Sebastian Coe, who was the world 1500 metre record holder. And next. These are some of the kids, and Sebastian and myself. This is when we were filming the Green Cross Coke commercial. Actually, it was quite funny with this commercial. It was like Batman all over again. Do you remember when they came out with the Batman films, when Adam West was doing Batman, and they used to have Batman jumping out of the windows and flying off and things like this, and all the kids started trying to emulate what Batman was doing, and they used to have to put a rider at the end of every Batman series saying, please children, don't try to emulate what Batman's doing. You cannot do it. Batman cannot fly, and things like this, you see. And with me, with this set of television commercials, they had me disappearing and reappearing. And the kids would be about to dash into the road, and then all of a sudden I would suddenly appear in front of them, you see, and tell them tell them off for what they were doing. And then I would disappear, and they'd say, oh, thank you, Mr. Greencross, and things like that. And what happened is that after the first set of commercials, we used to end the commercials in a special way. We used to say, every time you cross the road, always use the Green Cross code. And then we started getting letters from mothers writing in saying that their children were expecting the Green Cross code man to appear and save them if they dashed off into the road, no matter where they were. They thought I was going to suddenly appear in the middle of the road. And so when we came to do the second set of commercials, we had to change the ending of the commercials. We used to say, always use the Green Cross code because I won't be there when you cross the road. And but it was still a hugely successful campaign. Right, next. Go on, and again. Oops. I just put this in just to liven the fellas up, actually. This is a lady called Bridget Gibbons, who was a Miss Britain. And she used to enter all these ladies' bodybuilding competitions. But I just thought I'd put it in just to liven the fellas up. And the next, I think there's another one of her, actually. Yeah, she was a rather nice lady. Yeah. And the next. Oh, somebody was here today. No, hang on a minute. Somebody came up to, I don't know whether the gentleman's in the audience. He said, do you remember me? And I said, from where? And he said, we met in Napa Valley in 1978, just after Star Wars first came out. And he said, you had your photograph taken with my 2 children, who were dressed as Chewbacca and Darth Vader, you see. And I said, what coincidence? I said, I've actually got the photograph here of me with your 2 kids. You see, I don't know whether he's in the audience. I don't know whether he's here. But he was. You know, I told him I was going to do the show this afternoon. But this is, as I said, these are the 2 kids that belong to this guy that actually came to see me today. And this is actually taken, as I said, at Napa Valley. I went in for a big festival there. And this is 2 little kids. Right, next. Yeah. Oh, this actually is the artwork for the Hammer House of Horror stuff that we're going to do. This is actually going to go on the back of every t-shirt. Unfortunately, it's back to front, as you can see, but it's going on the back of every t-shirt that we do. Every t-shirt, sweatshirt, cap. This is the Hammer logo for the new Hammer House of Horror. Right, next. I think actually the next one is our first. This is our first t-shirt design. This is actually going to go on the t-shirts. We've got me at the bottom. There's one. You've got everything from, you've got Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing at the top. You've got the Oliver Reed's Curse of the Werewolf, Ingrid Pitt on the other side. But this is going to be our first t-shirt when we come out with it. And then we're following that with a second t-shirt, which will help launch the Curse of the Werewolf kit. And then we're going to do a third t-shirt, which is going to have 3 pictures of me on it, plus Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Right, next. I think we're getting towards the end, actually. Oh. I was in St. Louis. This is just something I've just stuck on the end of this one. I was in St. Louis Museum some time ago, and I saw this painting, which I thought was the most beautiful painting I've ever seen. And it was a picture actually of Loch Lomond, and I managed to get a hold of a slide of the actual picture. But I think this is an absolute beautiful, beautiful picture. I'd love to get hold of it, but unfortunately it's in St. Louis Museum. Right, any more? I think this is the last. That's it. Lovely. Right, anybody got any questions you'd like to ask me? Well, to put the lights back on. I have actually. I know they're obviously they got more people that they got to put on in the auditorium here this afternoon, so I'm going to have to close now. If you've got any more questions you want to ask, or if you want to come out and see me, I said I haven't put any of the Star Wars slides on. You know, unfortunately, as I said, we haven't got time to put them on. But if anybody wants to come out and see me, I'm stuck out just outside the front there. I've got loads and loads of Star Wars and horror photographs and pictures from horror of Frankenstein. If you would like, anybody wants to buy a picture from me and get it autographed and things like this. I've got some exclusive pictures from the Empire Strikes Back press and publicity and premiere pictures. So, as I said, thank you very, very much for your kind attention.
Let's give a warm thank you to Mr. David Prowse, Darth Vader. And as you heard, Mr. Prowse will be signing autographs. And David, people have been coming by the table saying, when's he coming back?
Yeah, when am I coming back? When am I going to come back?
Well, there's 2 options.
Is that fairly well? That's beautiful. Well, yeah, it's full size. Yeah. But what is that about?
As well as other photographs from his other films. So if anybody wants a signature, come back over to his booth. And we're also going to go to the booth to the left at Mr. Prowse. On my left. Jeff Rector is still here signing autographs from Next Generation. I believe Ann Robinson from the George Powell Classic line also worked on Generations, Star Trek 7, the new movie. Bargains in there too.
What about some buttons?
Probably is it batteries that they can.
Now, what was this used for? This is what he wore.
I'm here. I'm leaving. So I'll see you guys. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're feeling this.
Oh, we also got some really good people. Because well on that new one.
You have some press.
New,
more commercial than I expected.
Wicket the Ewok from Return of the Jedi.
Kenny Baker, R2-D2, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. The mighty Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca. And last but not least, Jeremy Bulloch, Boba Fett. Give him a warm welcome. Right. Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. I'm afraid that we must now go. Thank you. Right. So, Dave, where did you get to, Dave? Sorry, we're a bit late.
I was actually in 1974 when you came in.
Oh, we got years, yeah, didn't we? Well, 1974.
1974 was a great year.
I was 3.
Were you?
I was 4.
Please.
You weren't 3, Jeremy.
I was 3 years old in 1974. See, there's no surprise, look. I won't know, I
thought you said you'd been 37 years in the business.
Millennium.
I mean, it sounds like it, yeah.
Difficult to say, isn't it?
A short millennium, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all gathered.
We've been together now for 40 years, and it don't seem a day too long. Of all the ladies living in the world, and I'd swap for my hero.
There ain't a lady living in the land.
It's happy hour. It's happy hour.
Yeah.
When does the bar open? That's what I ask. What do you want to know? It's question time.
Subject or request for singing?
Yeah.
Singing?
Singing.
Now, what do you want to know? Seriously, what do you want? Any questions? Any questions?
There's a microphone over on the right-hand side.
Gentleman here with
There's a microphone over there if you're gonna.
Dave, I want to ask you.
Me? Oh.
When you saw Jedi,
Yeah.
the unmasked Darth Vader, how did
Yeah.
you feel when?
Pissed off. To be put it mild, pissed off. Yeah. I thought it was the worst possible stroke they could have pulled on me, and they did it. That's it. Simple. Simple as that. Yeah.
What's the one about the parachute?
Somebody asked me, they said, what did I think when they unmasked somebody else's Darth Vader at the finish of the Jedi film? And I said I was really pissed off with it.
I was quite pleased, actually.
We've all
It was you, wasn't it? It was you in the mask, yeah.
We've all got sub stories like that, David.
Yeah.
No, come on. We can go on forever.
Go on, tell me one then. Tell me yours.
I can tell you
go on.
loads.
Tell me yours.
Well, I was in Palm Springs in March.
What's it got to do with Star Wars?
Nothing at all.
Yeah, we don't want to know about your private life in Palm Springs.
Right. Any more nice enlightening questions?
The gentleman there, an extraordinary T-shirt.
I was curious if we're going to see any Boba Fett the next 3 films.
Hopefully no.
Yeah, he'll be there.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you hear?
He's cheap.
No, out of the 5 of us, I am the cheapest actor here, having been a stage actor for many years.
Yeah.
The money's appalling, so I am cheap. So there's great possibility.
A great possibility to be used, yeah. 27 parts.
Would you do it?
I would do it. I would do it. As long as I got a reasonable wage, I could buy a couple of vodka and tonics each evening, I'd be fine.
We have no pride. We will work anywhere for money.
No, I'm on a serious note, Kenny Baker. No, seriously, if the films came up, of course I would do them. I think anybody would. I think, just seeing the amount of people, the interest over the last couple of days.
I think all you lot would give your right arms to be in Star Wars, wouldn't you?
Might need some extras. Yeah, they might need some extras. Who knows?